What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and in this video, I'm going to talk about what I think is the current best team in Darkest Dungeon 2. There are a lot of ways to make the characters really shine and be good, and even though I made a tier list where I put characters in C, people are saying, you know, this character is good for me. Like, everyone is good and usable. However, the team I'm going to propose is, I think, the strongest, and I'll explain why, as well as, you know, what makes it better than the other teams and how to build it. So we'll start off with probably not too surprising of a choice, and that's going to be Plague Doctor. And so with Plague Doctor, I talk about this a bit in my my best builds video, where we're going to run her as Alchemist. You can do Surgeon too if you really wanted to, but it's not quite as cohesive with this team. And then you run the basic, you know, Blight, Heal, Support loadout. And something people have been saying too is like, well, I don't have all the skill unlocks. Why are we talking? You know, what's something we can do when we don't have a lot of skills? And the reason I'm doing it with every skill unlocked is because the less skills you have, the less variety you have in your build. Because, you know, you start with, this is Plague Doctor. Like, how do I tell you what to build with this? Because you're stuck with these. So that's why I'm not trying to be mean when I say that, but that's the thought behind it. So Plague Doctor, a couple reasons. Obviously, the healing output's really good, but also the token removal from IS Plus is really, really, really good, and that is hard to find for a lot of characters. And with Alchemist, her Blight resistance piercing is high enough to get through even like the Fetter enemies that start at 75. She can get through it pretty reliably, at least, especially with a trinket or a crit. And so the only thing Blight doesn't work against is if it's like Blight immune, you know, when it has 200 resist or something. And so with Alchemist, you not only get the crit and the res piercing and stuff, you get this huge group of resists, which really offsets the minus 20% HP. And so just all of that is so good to have. And she's really good in fourth here. And then our next character to talk about is Jester. So before Vestal was introduced, the Plague Doctor Jester combo was the new Gestal. And if you're not familiar with it, in DD1, a lot of people ran Jester and Vestal together, so we call it Gestal. And that's just because it's a very recovery heavy duo. And so until we got Vestal, this was the same idea behind it previously. And with Jester, you can run a lot of things here, but Virtuoso is just that much better than the other two paths. It's jokingly referred to as Jester Plus, you know how there's like Dodge Plus and stuff, because this is just better Jester. You get random stress immunity, you get a bunch of HP, you get speed, and the minus dot res, only, sorry about that, but yeah, only one of these matters at a time for most cases, and so it's just better than the rest. And as far as skills go, you have two choices really. It's something like these four, so you get to move around, stress heal, and encore, very powerful. And then you pick one of your bleed skills, so either harvest or slice off. The other one is the finale loop, which is something like this, but then you can run whatever else you want, you know, for your fifth move. So it could be play out, could be ballad, could be a you know, move back skill. It can be a lot of things. Like, you could solo and then fade to black twice, something like that. The loop, I guess I should say too, the loop with this is to solo, or is to encore someone, then solo, and then finale. And when these have, like when you have encore upgraded and the cooldown's lower, you can do this repeatedly, you know, with no break in between. And that can be very strong. However, something like this is also very easy to use. Jester just goes back and forth, and you have your support skills. But yeah. So this works, every team likes this Jester. I'm thinking about how people, I read your comments, you talk about how my mouse moving is annoying. I'm sorry about that, it's compulsive, okay? Yeah, so this is the loadout, move around, combo things, support your allies, and it's really good. Every team wants this on the team, you know? Alright, so for our third character, it's Highwayman as Sharpshot. And so you can run PBS over Robbery, but with our final character, I think Robbery's better. And so with this setup, there are a few advantages. One, Dismas doesn't care if he gets moved to the back, you know, like if Jester moves in front of him or if someone gets pulled, he doesn't care. And you have like range stun on upgraded pistol shot. You have a ton of damage in take aim and double tap. And you have token mitigation through robbery, as well as you have a bunch of bonus damage and speed with sharp shot. And so even a take aim boosted sharp shot where you get strength and stuff like that, this hits really hard. This hits for like 12 damage or maybe 14 for a crit on 2 targets every turn. It's really good stress healing, it's really good damage, and you just keep feeding him strength. So with this in mind, it's such a flexible range damage dealer that can still hit the front that it matches up very, very well against almost any encounter out there. The alternative, like I said, running PBS, sometimes you're against a boss that doesn't care about buffing itself with tokens, so you don't need robbery, and you also might get moved to the front, and so you can, you know, point blank shot yourself back. But yeah, this is such a flexible damage dealer that, again, you're seeing here, we have 3 characters that really just function with anyone, which is why they function so well together, if that makes sense. Our final character, no surprise, is probably Man-at-Arms. So when I said this is the best character in the game, people disagreed, and some don't, some do. But the reason Man-at-Arms is rated so highly, at least to me, is that he can, no joke, dismantle every single encounter, like every boss in the game. He has an answer to. So it's like, does it do a ton of damage? Well, he can withdraw and combo it, heal himself, and then he can crush it, and he heals for 53% of his life, plus getting blocked, plus speed, you know. And he can combo this repeatedly because this only has a 1-turn cooldown. So Man-at-Arms can almost solo a boss, especially like a thrilling tablet. He has almost no issue doing it. But there are some bosses that move you. He has Hold the Line, which not only stops the rest of your team from getting moved, but he can get back to the front from anywhere. He has Rampart, you know, if he needs to move 1 space. He has Defender if, you know, the damage alternates between front and back. He has Bolster for defense and stress healing. And you have 2 stress healers on this team. He has Retribution, which can get rid of not only the defensive tokens on the enemy, but the bad ones on him. So every time you swing Riposte, it gets rid of Blind and Weaken. And if you hit the enemy, it gets rid of Dodge and Block. So it's really, really good. It does this twice, you know, every time he gets hit. And the rest of his stuff is really, really flexible. Like I said, if you need him to solo stuff, you can do the Withdrawal Crush combo. Enemy gets crit or riposte, he can yell it off. Enemy blinds you a lot, he can get rid of your blind. He needs to just sit there and get hit repeatedly. If he doesn't want to do withdrawal and stuff like that, you can use Stand Fast, which removes combo. This is good for some bosses too. So he has an answer to literally everything. And then if you want to pass your turn, there's Courageous Abandon. And so with Man-at-Arms, again, fits incredibly well in this team. And since he has an answer to every boss in the game, like every hard encounter in the game, he can deal with. Requires a bit of understanding on your part. You have to know what the boss does and the mechanics and then what skills to bring. But when you know that, you will win. It's just the way that it is. And as far as paths go, the paths are flexible. Boss or whatever you're going up against has a lot of movement. Well, there you go. You have Sergeant. You might be able to stun it. You want to taunt more? Well, there's Bulwark. Or you just want to do a ton of damage, then there's Vanguard. So there you go. The reason this team is better, I would say, than, you know, any other combination right now is because a lot of the other characters that you could consider, like Occultist, Grey Robber, and stuff like that, they're not just as strong as these other ones. And, you know, Vestal, she may be a better healer than Plague Doctor, but she doesn't do enough damage compared to Plague Doctor. And so because of all of this, I think it's the best team. So if you end up using it, let me know what you think. If you disagree, that's fine. Just be civil about it. And this was a hopefully short and sweet video. So thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time.